Good day everyone. In today's video, we are going to completely dismantle, service and reassemble the Philips HC3520 hair clipper, which belongs to the Philips 3000 series. In this video, I will clearly explain everything you need to know to carry out this service at home. So I invite you to watch the video all the way to the end without missing any important steps. First, carefully inspect the external plastic housing and get a clear understanding of how its different parts are connected together. Before starting the dismantling process, it is very important to connect the original battery charger and make sure that the charging indicator light comes on. Also, confirm that the clipper operates correctly when powered together charger. One particularly useful feature of the Philips HC3520 is that it can operate directly from the power adapter even when the battery is not providing power. Next, press the adjustable comb length adjustment button and move it back and forth to make sure that it operates smoothly and correctly. Now, remove the adjustable comb. The Philips HC3520 has a click open cutting head. Press the release button and separate the cutting unit from the main body. Before doing this, make sure that the clipper is switched off and disconnect the power adapter. Another useful feature of the Philips HC3520 is its click open head, which makes it easy to release and clean the blades. Now we come to the most difficult part of dismantling this hair clipper, separating the main housing. Unlike a conventional plastic housing that is secured with screws, the housing of this clipper is designed differently. In fact, there are no screws used to hold the main housing together. Instead, the two housing sections are held together by plastic snap fit clips. Because these clips can be damaged quite easily, do not try to force the plastic housing apart using metal tools. Instead, use thin plastic pry tools to separate the housing safely. First, we can carefully create a small gap between the two housing sections. Once a gap has been created, insert a suitable plastic pry tool into the gap and gently lift the lower black housing section just enough to release the clips. Please keep in mind, do not apply excessive force. By using several suitable plastic pry tools, release the two clips located underneath the cutting unit. After releasing the two clips underneath the cutting unit, move on to the clips on both sides of the housing. Release them alternately, working from the front toward the rear of the clipper. Take your time and release each clip very carefully. The main plastic housing consists of two parts. The first is the upper grey plastic cover and the second is the lower black plastic cover. These two parts are held together very firmly by 8 snap fit plastic clips. You can see the position of all 8 clips marked with purple circles in this photograph. The same photograph also shows the approximate distance of each clip from the main corners of the housing. Remember that these two main plastic housing sections are held together only by these 8 snap fit clips. Therefore, I strongly recommended carrying out this step very carefully to avoid breaking or permanently damaging the clips. As a final reminder, avoid using metal pry tools unless absolutely necessary. A thin plastic pry tool is much safer and will gently reduce the possibility of scratching, deforming or breaking the plastic housing. Even after releasing all 8 snap fit clips, the upper and lower housing sections still cannot be separated. The reason is the adjustable comb length adjustment button. To separate the upper and lower sections of the main housing, this button must be removed first. Use a suitable plastic pry tool and carefully release the button from the housing. Once the adjustment button has been removed, we can now separate the upper and lower housing sections. This gives us access to the internal components of the Philips HC3520. At this point, we can get a clear understanding of the mechanism that operates the on-off switch. The plastic frame connected to the motor is secured to the lower housing with 2 screws. Let's remove these 2 screws now. Once the screws are removed, we can use a pry tool to carefully lift and remove this section. However, we need to be particularly careful here. The charging and power circuit, which is connected to the 2 batteries, is also connected to the motor through 2 wires. If we pull this section out too quickly, there is a risk of damaging or breaking the 2 clips that connect the circuit board to the charging pins. So carefully pull the assembly out while making sure that these 2 clips are not bent or damaged. The circuit of this trimmer is somewhat more complex than you might expect. The reason is that the Philips HC3520 is designed to operate from both its 2 rechargeable batteries and directly from the battery charger. Now we can clearly see how the entire internal assembly of the trimmer is arranged and how its different components work together. The next step is to thoroughly clean all of these components. When cleaning the cutting unit, use a suitable tool to carefully remove the 2 ends of the spring from the cutting blade. This allows us to separate the cutting blade from the cutting unit. The entire circuit board, including the 4 battery terminals, should be thoroughly cleaned with 99% isopropyl alcohol and allowed to dry completely. Once everything has been cleaned and dried, we can begin the reassembly process. Before installing, connect the charger and use a multimeter to check whether the charging process is working correctly. First, correctly connect the motor assembly and the circuit assembly together. Then carefully attach the two charging clips to the two charging pins. Also, after installing the two screws, check whether the clipper motor operates correctly when powered directly through the charger. At this stage, we can also clearly see the location and arrangement of the snap fit clips that I mentioned earlier. Once everything has been tested successfully, we can proceed the final housing assembly. Carefully align the two sections of the outer housing. You can see two small plastic guards on the grey housing section just in front of these two clips. First, carefully align these two guards with their corresponding openings in the black housing section. Once they are correctly aligned, all 8 snap fit clips can be properly positioned and pressed into place. We should start with the two clips underneath the cutting unit. Next, set the length adjustment wheel to the required position. Carefully align the adjustment button with its mechanism and press into its place. Finally, we only need to reinstall the cutting unit. Connect the charger and test the operation of the trimmer. If everything is working correctly, the complete servicing process is now finished. I hope you found this video useful and learned something from it. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more useful repair and servicing videos. Until we meet again with another useful video, wishing you all the best and happiness.